Haidilao is not just a restaurant, it's an emotion. From humble beginnings in a small Sichuan town to the neon lights of New York, Tokyo, Seoul, Sydney, and Singapore, Haidilao became a name whispered not just by food lovers, but by anyone who believed that service could change the world. However, behind the laughter, the birthday songs, and the whirling aroma of chili and peppercorns lies a story of courage, crisis, and transformation. A story that asks, what happens when a brand built on service grows too fast and forgets to breathe? Let's enter the world of Haidilao. Zhang Yong, born in Jianyang, Sichuan, China. Before opening the restaurant, Zhang Yong had failed in several ventures, such as game machines and gasoline business. In 1994, with 3 friends, he rented a tiny roadside shop, then opened a 4-table hotpot restaurant named Haidilao. The name Haidilao derived from a Sichuan mahjong term. One day, his wife was playing mahjong. She drew the very last tile and won, a move called Haidilao Yu, which means scooping up the moon from the bottom of the sea. She then said, let's name the restaurant Haidilao. It symbolizes the thrill of achieving victory with the final tile. At that time, customers were few, but Zhang Yong's energy filled the air. He treated every guest as if they were his family. If someone waited long, he brought them sunflower seeds. If someone looked tired, he offered tea. And when people started smiling, he soon realized that customers came not only for the food, but for how they were treated. As China's economy opened up, cities buzzed with opportunity, and Haidilao rode that wave with purpose. By the early 2000s, the brand expanded across provinces. He made service the centerpiece of Haidilao's identity. Every restaurant became a theater of hospitality. Waiters singing and dancing. Employees performed Lo-Ming show infused with Chinese martial arts. Sichuan-style national quintessence face-changing performance. Families celebrated birthdays in Haidilao. Friends met after long weeks. Children's amusement park with dedicated staff. While waiting, various snacks, fruits, and games are provided. And free photo printing. Free manicures and hand care for female customers. Making crafts. Children were given toys. Couples received small surprises. In every corner, there was laughter, music, and the hum of care. No other restaurant in China offered anything like it. Haidilao had become more than food. It had become emotion served with spice. Word spread, not through billboards, but through whispers of wonder. Haidilao was no longer just a restaurant. It was an experience that said, you matter here. By 2018, it operated over 760 restaurants, stretching from Chengdu to Singapore. In September that year, Haidilao went public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Founder Zhang Yong led Haidilao to great heights, growing it from a small shop in Zhenyang, Sichuan, in 1994, into a catering giant with more than 1,300 stores worldwide. Zhang Yong, the once hungry dreamer, became China's richest restaurateur. The world called it the miracle of Chinese dining. But behind every miracle, there's a storm waiting to test its strength. Between 2018 and 2021, Haidilao embarked on one of the most aggressive expansions in the history of the food industry, opening more than 800 new restaurants in just 3 years. Every week, A new Haidilao banner went up somewhere. Investors cheered. Customers lined up. But inside the company, cracks began to appear. The magic of service, Haidilao's soul, was getting stretched thin. Training couldn't keep up. Managers were overwhelmed. The famous Haidilao smile started fading from some outlets. In smaller Tier 3 and Tier 4 cities, customer spending power was lower, but costs remained high. The company's once perfect service began to stumble under its own success. By 2021, financial statements told a painful truth. Haidilao lost over $570 million. The empire built on care was now gasping for breath. And then, the unthinkable, COVID-19. The restaurants that once echoed with laughter now stood silent. Chairs stacked, lights dimmed. Across China and beyond, dining stopped. Competitors like Shop swiftly switched to delivery. Haidilao, built on in-person experience, was slow to react. The expansion continued even as customers vanished. The world had changed overnight, but Haidilao hadn't caught up. The company's heartbeat weakened. The question now was survival. Would this be the end of Haidilao's story, or the beginning of its rebirth? November 2021, in the 10th boardroom in Beijing, Zhang Yong made a decision that would shock everyone. We must stop chasing numbers. We must fix the soul of this company. He announced the woodpecker plan, like a woodpecker tapping at a tree to find what's hollow. Zhang Yong would tap through Haidilao to find where it had gone wrong. 260 restaurants were closed, 32 more suspended. Thousands of staff were reassigned, managers retrained. The goal wasn't to shrink, it was to heal. It was a message to the world. Sometimes to grow stronger, you must first prune your own branches. The move was radical, even heartbreaking, but it saved the company. Zhang Yong knew company structure had to change. The old coach management model no longer fit a global giant. So Haidilao built a regional management system, 7 zones across China, each led by empowered managers who understood local markets, and each could now make quick, data-driven decisions, balancing autonomy with accountability. Pay systems changed too. Less fixed salary, more performance-based rewards. Employees who once worked for Haidilao now worked with Haidilao. For the first time, managers were judged not by expansion, but by excellence. And slowly, the energy returned. Staff began smiling again. Customers began clapping again. The broth of hope began to boil once more. Haidilao didn't just recover, it reinvented itself. Robotic waiters replaced some staff, gliding smoothly between tables with fresh dishes. AI systems in kitchens predicted orders, managed inventory, and cut waste. Technology became Haidilao's new sous chef. Menus evolved too. There were low-fat broths, vegan options, and plant-based innovations to serve health-conscious diners. Even during chaos, the company dared to experiment. And customers noticed, this isn't the old Haidilao. They said, it's the smarter one. The brand had transformed from a restaurant chain into a culinary ecosystem, part tradition, part technology, all heart. But Zhang Yong didn't stop at dining. He wanted Haidilao to be a cultural symbol. The company launched lipsticks, toys, aprons, candles, and even hot pot-themed merchandise. Social media went wild. Fans created memes, posted videos, and built communities around the brand. In a world that was distancing, Haidilao was connecting. One hot pot, one smile, one meme at a time. It had become a bridge between people, cultures, and generations. By the end of 2022, Haidilao made another daring move. The spin-off of Super High International Holding Ltd. listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. This wasn't just a corporate shuffle. It was strategic rebirth. Haidilao would now focus on China, because this is home, its heart, its biggest strength. Super High would handle global markets, learning to adapt without burdening the core brand. It was like two siblings, one staying home to protect the roots, the other venturing out to explore new horizons. This balance brought stability, and profits began to rise again. Additionally, in the battlefield of hotpot dining, Haidilao's competitors taught important lessons. Shabu Shabu master cost efficiency, and Banu hotpot ruled luxury. But Haidilao realized its true edge lay not in cost or class, but in connection. Its competitors chased trends. Haidilao built trust. They served meals. Haidilao served memories. In times of uncertainty, that became its shield and sword. The brand that almost broke bounced back stronger, wiser, and warmer. By 2023, Haidilao had stabilized at around 1,371 restaurants across 13 countries. Not the biggest, but the best balanced. Revenue climbed again. Profits returned. Inside each restaurant, the music played, and laughter filled the air once more. Steam rising from every pot carried more than just the scent of chili. It carried the spirit of survival. From failure to faith, from chaos to calm. Haidilao had risen like a phoenix, redefined by resilience. Haidilao's story is not just about business. It's about values that feed the soul. It teaches that growth means nothing if it kills your culture. Expansion is empty without empathy. And the best recipe for success is service with sincerity. Zhang Yongwang said, "We don't sell hot pot, we sell service." And perhaps that's why, even in its hardest moments, Haidilao never lost its flavor. Today, Haidilao's impact goes beyond restaurants. With over 100,000 employees and millions of loyal customers, it has become a living example of modern Chinese entrepreneurship. Bold, human, and adaptable. Its philosophy of customer satisfaction and employee efforts echoes across industries, taught in classrooms and boardrooms alike. From Jinyang's narrow streets to the skyline of Singapore, the journey of Haidilao stands as proof that Haidilao isn't just about what's in the pot, it's about who sits around it. Haidilao, from broth to brilliance. A story of flavor, fire, and faith.